Third time since Sunday that protesters have targeted a synagogue here in Vaughan. This time, though, both sides are out in full force. So I want to give you a better look at the scene here. You can see that members of the Jewish community, they are lining the property of the synagogue. Well, right across the street, members, rather pro-Palestinian protesters are set up there. A large portion of Clark Street is shut down to facilitate this. You can also see a large police presence. They're here to help keep the peace. I can tell you, though, that a lot of questions, a lot of concerns are being raised about demonstrations like this being allowed to happen at places of worship.
There are limits to free speech. When people become intimidated and become fearful in their own neighborhoods, then it's time for the government to step in.
The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, along with other community leaders, are calling on the Ford government to take action and create bubble legislation that would ban demonstrations at places of worship, community centers, schools, and daycares.
I actually couldn't care less if pro-Palestinian protesters gather downtown. But to come to the doorstep of our congregation is where we say, you've crossed a red line. That's enough. And we have to, you push us, we're gonna push back.
3 levels of government released a joint statement ahead of this protest, with the mayor of Vaughan, the area's MP and MPP, all saying, we share these concerns. It is unacceptable that a place of worship or nearby schools and daycares be targeted in this way.
It's not something that's a priority right now. The federal government has some tools, and if that's something that they want to consider, then we'll hear what the federal government has to say on that.
This is the third time this week a Vaughan synagogue has been the site of a protest. What did you experience on Sunday?
Just a lot of tension and aggravation and, fear.
Why not take it to the streets or to Queen's Park or Parliament Hill or something like that instead of a place of worship?
We have been. I don't know if you have been following the news. We have been rallying in front of any official structure that is furthering the genocide of the Palestinians.
Pro-Palestinian demonstrators tell me they're here today taking issue with real estate events being held at synagogues this week that are showcasing homes for sale in Israel, but also include some property in Israeli-occupied West Bank.
The message here is plain and simple. They want as much as Palestinian land they can get with as little Palestinians here.
But the Jewish community says that's not the case.
A very small percentage of those are in the disputed territories across the Green Line. But those have already been apportioned by the state of Israel for Jewish settlements. No Palestinian land was stolen, as they are accusing us.
This time the Jewish community showed up. They knew that this protest was being planned, and they decided to gather as a community to sort of push back and sort of take back their synagogue. At times, tensions have been running high. We have seen some heated confrontations, but really nothing major. Really, there's a lot of chanting back and forth, and each side kind of blasting music at each other. But once again, there was a very large police presence here, Cynthia, to help keep the peace. We're being told that the city of Vaughan is also sharing its corporate security with police to help keep things in check here. We did reach out to the Premier's office today to ask about these types of demonstrations at places of worship, and we're still waiting for a response. The Ford government